I was so excited to see the return of Kenner Walrus Man in the Bad Batch. Just walking around the streets of Ord Mantell. Yeah, that's where he is. That's where Walrus Man lives. And I was so excited to see him. I had the action figure here with me in the studio, and I still do. And Jason put a screen grab of me at the end of the show last night, and I had Walrus Man clenched in my teeth by his feet,
chomping on it like a cigar. I go, what are you doing? What is this? I said, you smoke your Star Wars action figures? So you eat, breathe, sleep, and smoke Star Wars?
Not quite.
But it triggered a memory.
It was kind of a tribute, I felt, to young Gertie from E.T., played by Drew Barrymore, who I was convinced in that moment, I was flashing back to E.T., and I was convinced that that's where an image was in my head of a young girl laying in bed with an action figure in her mouth, like this. Mm-hmm. And, just goofing, right?
Right.
And, when we're kids, we put everything in our mouths. What are you talking about? So Freud had something to say about all that. I don't pay any attention to it. I just know that sometimes it's nice to put a Star Wars action figure in.
Sometimes a Star Wars figure is just a Star Wars figure, right? Just like Groucho Marx said to Freud, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Or was that Freud that said that? But you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Don't read anything into it.
Exactly. So I had this thought, and then all of a sudden I had a moment of clarity. Wait a second. It's a different movie from that same era that Steven Spielberg had fingerprints all over. Not E.T., but Poltergeist. Yes, Poltergeist. And so that led me down the rabbit hole this morning because I wanted to see it. I wanted to see that scene. Poltergeist isn't the easiest thing to stream. It's not like, part of the regular rotation on any of the main streamers. You have to rent it. But we had a there you go. There's young Carrie Ann, played by Heather O'Rourke. We had a DVD in our house, so I was able to go through it today. And I pulled some screen grabs and I put it together into a little slideshow because what I discovered was that there was way more than just young Carrie Ann with the vintage Luke Skywalker in her mouth. It wasn't Walrus Man. It was Luke Skywalker. But that was like an indelible image that burned into my mind. So I got this slideshow here of Poltergeist because there's more than just the vintage Luke Skywalker. There's Star Wars stuff all over this kid's room. And so I put together a little slideshow. You can watch it on YouTube, or if you have RFR All Access on Patreon, you get full show video. But we'll snip this little part out and put it on YouTube. So here is Star Wars in Poltergeist, as told through memorabilia primarily. So go ahead and fire that off, Jason. Here we go. There's the picture that started it off, young Carrie Ann with the Luke figure in her mouth. Oh, by the way, these screen grabs, I was able to tweak and remove shadows. And so you can see things much clearer here in this little presentation I have. But there she is, just having the time of her life with that Luke figure. It looks like her doll is beheaded right next to her too. Okay, there's the mom, and behind her you see the vintage Kenner Darth Vader Star Wars action figure case with red eyes.
I don't remember the eyes on that case being so red.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, they weren't, because the production crew painted those eyes in to make it pop more in the background. They figured it just looked like a big black blob in the background.
Right.
Also on the wall, you see the Star Wars movie poster and some vintage Kenner action figures there on the shelf. What appears to be a Tauntaun and a few others. So, and there's a Jeffrey, the giraffe, in the background too. So the accuracy of a kid's room from this era is perfectly represented in Poltergeist.
Oh, you got Darth Vader right next to the football helmet. Is that a Rams football helmet
Rams,
there?
yeah. Then they were the LA Rams. Oh, you see on the shelf, there's a plastic Tauntaun, an FX7, and a Han Hoth Empire Strikes Back vintage Kenner figures. The kid has Star Wars bed sheets. There you see on the
Look at
left
that
on
puppet,
his
puppet
nightstand.
Yoda.
It's the Yoda puppet from Kenner. It was like this hard rubbery puppet.
It's like a training thing. Yeah.
He's looking out the Tree of Evil, but you see on the windowsill, he has the turret and Probot playset from Kenner, along with the vintage TIE Fighter. And there on the wall is the Factors Incorporated Darth Vader poster that was everywhere. The Disco Darth, we called it. And it was...
What was so, wait a minute, what was so disco about that? What was...
I think it was like there's kind of fog machine effects going on there.
Oh, okay.
And
I mean, definitely very 70s. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really, the mirrored ball is just right off frame there. You can see that. But I always enjoyed that poster. I felt Vader looked super intimidating there, and I had that poster myself. It was super popular. So that's hanging in the kids' room, along with a vintage Kenner switcheroo, a C-3PO switcheroo. These were little plates of plastic you would put over your light switch, and it resembled the
I never heard of those. I never heard of those before.
You're kidding me.
No, I never heard of that switcheroo. That's cool. And Kenner did those, huh?
Kenner did them. If I remember correctly, there was a 3PO, a Vader, and an
I'd like
R2.
To have those now.
And so there's a little lever there right above his mouth, like right around his nose, and that you would flip that up to turn the light on and off. Yeah, you just put that right over your light switch on the wall and screwed it to the wall. And
love stuff like that.
They were popular. They were popular.
That's a mystery because it seems like that's something that they didn't continue to make throughout the subsequent movies. That might have been just a late 70s only thing.
Yeah. Probably circa 79, circa 80, something like that.
They're here. Rebel Force Radio on the screen as little Carol Ann is holding her hands up to it.
Yeah. Heather O'Rourke, she died very young.
Yeah,
she was a button in Poltergeist.
Yeah, very sad. That's cool.
Lots of, the Spielberg touch, obviously. Steven, didn't he and George famously trade points on their movies?
Yes, they did. They did.
So, Steven will find any opportunity he can at this time to promote the Star Wars film. He had Star Wars in E.T., he had Star Wars in Poltergeist. He wants to keep those points paying off. That he got from George.
And Jim, you weren't wrong. I mean, here is a still from E.T. with young Elliot holding up a vintage Greedo and Hammerhead action figure.
Oh my God! And
I believe it's been a while since I saw the movie, but I think he shows E.T. Boba Fett, and I think he makes Boba Fett levitate or something. Wow. I'm having a memory of that, so maybe we should look into that one. But yeah, I found this still. Greedo. He's got the weapons too for both of them.
Yeah. Well, those were contemporary toys back in the day, and I'm still not. I'm not that precious about them. I'll put a Luke Skywalker in my mouth. I don't care.
Wait a minute, is that a double telescoping saber, Luke?
Let me tell you something about this Luke Skywalker. This is the same action figure I had since I was a kid, purchased in 1978. This thing is in beautiful shape. I was just looking at it today. Look at this lightsaber. It's
that's amazing. Perfect, that the tip is still on
perfect condition. I mean, it's just absolutely perfect. Yeah,
that's very cool.
I took care of my Star Wars stuff when I was a kid, I really did. And it's paying off. I did think when I bought this in 1978 at the Toys R Us that it would be appearing on a camera during a show that's watched by people worldwide.
The face is still in good shape.
Yeah. My dog didn't get this one.
Yeah. Wow. It's always great to have your childhood originals